Hey, Loco sports fans, long time no see. Welcome back to the Loco Sports Lowdown. Been almost a week, not quite a week, but been a few days since we got
I think
together. Wes was out
Wednesday
of town. It
ish.
was a little chaotic. We couldn't get a quorum, but all good. Here we are. It's Heritage Eve, sort of. I mean, like the festivities really kick off in full force
Tomorrow.
tomorrow, but the tournament, of course, begins on Thursday. The competitive rounds. We all look forward to that, and should be a great Heritage again this year. We will not see Masters champ Rory McIlroy at Harbortown this year, which he had announced that before
Yep.
he repeated and got his back-to-back green jacket. So you could guess that he would probably take this one off anyway if he had not already planned it that way. So anyway, it should be a great field, though. Should be a great event. We'll talk about that. We'll catch up on lots of high school sports stuff. Baseball and softball. Baseball race continues to be very tight. Hilton Head and May River tied at the
Bluffton
top in region.
Bluffton stole one from the Seahawks on Friday.
They did, yeah,
Did.
but then Beaufort stole one from May River, so that kept things tight at the top. So we'll break all that down. Talk a little soccer. The Hardyville Classico is tonight, leg 2 at Town Hall. I'll have to see how that one turned out. Hardyville and Royal Live Oaks, and then USCB baseball got a nice win, but also got eliminated from postseason contention.
I mean, look,
While
you
the
expected
softball
that
team
based
had
on
a
the
great
start
weekend.
they had. Yeah, I mean, look, you expect that based on the start that they had, but ESA, they're trending in the right direction as they get ready for their last 2 series. The rest of their games are all at home. They play tomorrow against Savannah State, a team they beat 10-7, and then their last 2 series against Lander and then Middle Georgia State. And meanwhile, the softball team very much alive in the Peach Belt tournament race with a series win. They were 3 outs away from the sweep. That series finale on Sunday, they had a 1-run lead, couldn't keep it as Middle Georgia State came back to win that last game, but still taking the series is important. And now they're getting ready to hit the road this weekend. So softball looking promising. Madison Murphy doing her thing at least for the most part of that series, and some timely hits from a couple of important pieces of the lineup. So obviously Max was on the call. I'm not sure if he will still pop in near the end but
we'll see if he is able to join us tonight after work.
yeah, I'll be back on the call tomorrow for some St. Shark baseball as USCB hosts the Tigers of Savannah State.
Very good.
But yeah, I was away for the weekend. I was in Washington, D.C. to see some family, and it was a very, it was a nice opportunity to see family I've not seen before, family I have seen before, and just to reconnect. So, I had myself a really great couple of days over there in the nation's capital. And obviously, if you know DC during this time, it's cherry blossom season. So
Yes.
the cherry blossoms were in full force. It was beautiful outside.
Nice.
Now getting ready to got to see the Masters from up there as Rory McIlroy and what was a kind of ended up being a crazy Sunday at points where it looked like he was running away with it. The tough Saturday found a way to turn it back on Sunday and nearly flirted with disaster on 15, but he was able to do just enough to hold off Scotty Scheffler. So Scotty Scheffler, we will see in the Heritage coming up.
Yep. Yeah, most of the leaderboard will be here, just not Rory this time, but should be a great tournament nonetheless. And Marcus, what have you been up to, buddy?
Oh gosh, I've been singing a bunch. Was part of the first wave, if you will, of Italian, French, and Russian opera that was sung in English. We had a show last night, actually yesterday afternoon, another one with the Hilton Head Symphony Orchestra chorus and the orchestra tonight, which I was not a part of because I had prior duties, but just, getting through a bunch of rehearsals for that and winding things down. Obviously, with Sam's commitments with church really starting to wind down and us looking forward towards the wedding and whatnot next year, my schedule has opened up. So I have a list of possible dates starting next week to possibly maybe even a handful check out 3, 4, maybe even 5 games as I can. Baseball, softball. Really looking forward to for sure seeing JP2 on the softball field and the baseball field. We mentioned Bluffton, I think just before we started the show. I think next Tuesday they host Beaufort. I may try to get to Bluffton for that.
Tuesday doesn't sound right because they usually play Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Maybe it's Monday. I'll have to double
Wednesday.
check. I've got it
Wednesday, at
in my phone.
Bluffton. It's Wednesday
Okay,
at Bluffton.
that's what I'm thinking then. Hearing a lot of good things about the local teams in particularly, but JP2 and HHCA are definitely catching my eye. And
Speaking of which, they had a showdown on Saturday that we'll talk about as well.
Yep.
Yep.
Saw Tim Wood earlier today and was catching up with him over at Barbers of the Low Country and catching up on everything kind of LowcoSports related as well. So definitely good to see him and get some information out there because like you guys know, for the better part of the last, what feels like, I don't know, a month or if not longer, for the most part, I've kind of been out of the loop. So it's good that the schedule's kind of gotten back.
Yeah,
where
well, we're starting to get
can
towards
get
playoffs.
you
A
guys
lot of
out.
those, a lot of the
Yeah.
spring sports, of course.
Yep.
Lacrosse is going to get going very, very soon with postseason.
Yeah, it looks
play.
like they've pushed it back a little bit. It doesn't
okay.
start until a little later, toward the end of the month.
I think that's a good decision.
agree.
But speaking of which, I have some interesting news I saw from the high school regarding playoffs next year. But
Yeah,
would like to
we'll get
bring up
into that as well. But
there.
before let me say that the show is presented by our all-star sponsors, Mickelson Law Firm and WHHI TV. Mickelson Law Firm, been with us since the beginning. Our original sponsor, our official real estate closing attorney, presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. But they can help you with all your legal needs right in downtown Bluffton at Mickelson Law Firm. And WHHI TV, our partner in local sports coverage. Marcus Walsh, our codependent friend, who helps us both out, keeps us abreast of what's happening out there on the Loco sports scene on WHHI TV. Great partner. We love working with you guys and being a part of your live broadcast throughout
Likewise.
football and basketball seasons. And then a little personal news. I had spring break last week, and then wheels came off this weekend. My daughter was riding the e-bike, and she veered into the grass to avoid people on the sidewalk, and she crashed the e-bike, and she called us and said, I think I broke my arm. And she broke her wrist right above the growth plate Saturday evening, and got to ride to Charleston to get it looked at and get it set. So she's got the big cast.
Dang.
As you know, she's obsessed with softball right now.
Oh, geez, tough to see that.
Gonna miss
Sorry
the
to
middle
hear that,
school
Finley.
playoffs. Gonna miss the
Oh man,
the travel season and the rec all stars. But the lessons learned. Next pitch, you can't change that one. All you can do is make the best of it. So rough. It's sad. We're very sad at our house right now, but it's gonna be okay. So yeah, that kind of threw things into a tizzy the last couple of days.
She's a tough kid, though.
She's very tough. She's beating herself up about it, but I think the lesson has been learned that hey, you're not invincible. You gotta mind your P's and Q's and take care of yourself. Be smart. So, it is what it is. It's a miracle. We have a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old, and this is the first broken bone.
Get the friends to sign the cast.
Wow.
They can still do that.
Right.
First
broken bone between
stunning.
them. Just can't complain about that.
Yeah.
So,
Not
yeah.
least.
Yeah. And so we're gonna hit the
eventually, you
deductible.
hope that it'll be at some point. It'll be like one of those honorable stories that you have.
Well, and that's kind of what I told her.
Yeah.
I said, look, baby, you can't listen to an interview with an elite athlete or a star athlete where they don't reference either a time that they were injured and what they got out of that, or some other, sort of big adverse point in their career that was like a turning point for them. And a lot of them talk about when they're injured and they have to slow down and they have to see the game from a new perspective and sit next to their
Especially high
coach and
school. How many
watch
times have
and
we talked about that in
support,
just
support,
terms of
support.
high
Yeah,
school and college athletes around here?
right.
Right.
You
Woody
can learn
Gatosi is the
so
first player
much.
that comes to
Yes.
mind for me.
Yep. Yep. And
Others as
so
well.
that's what I told her. I said, there's things that can, you need to stay around the team. There'll be positives that come out of this. And there's things you can still do, to stay connected. So especially in softball, you can be the cheerleader, and she kind of is one of
Yeah,
our
be
cheerleaders.
yeah, be that
So
be that
she can lead the chants.
hype player
Yeah.
in the dugout. I mean, that's
Yep.
especially for
Yep. That's your
softball
job.
because that you can really hype a team up from the dugout.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
During the game.
wild.
Yes.
My
I went
dugout.
to Yeah, I went to my first softball games, I think, since I was in high school. When I covered a couple of games for you guys last year, and I mean, my mind was
Yeah.
like blown just with the
Oh, yeah.
level of hype and you
Well,
know competition, rivalry,
oh, it's
revelry.
it's all
Got it
fun,
all.
man.
Yes.
The girls are all vibes and all fun, and I mean, I just love it. I've started using the lingo when I'm coaching. I catch myself saying like "nacho cheese" when it's a called strike that we didn't need to swing at. Nacho cheese, nacho pitch. But I don't know. I love it. I love being around the girls. They're infectious, and they love the game. They play hard, and they get over it faster.
Yeah, that's
Like
anything you want.
it is what it is, and they get over it and they move on. The guys wear it a little bit too much at times, but no, we had a good practice today. After some rough results, we had a really good practice today. So anyway,
Good.
yeah, Finley's on the mend. Send the well wishes. She's bumming right now.
You got this, kid.
But where do we start? We kind of teased at the
I think we
Heritage.
got a
We'll
good
talk.
start. Yeah, let's take a look at some of those high school spring scores. I think
You want to
those-
talk about that? Yeah, let me
Yeah.
get the scoreboard up here for you. That's
especially
probably be-
baseball and softball with a lot of important developments over there, especially in 6-4A where this happened. I missed, I hate to miss those big games, especially Bluffton Hilton. I love seeing those rivalry matchups
Right.
between those two teams. And there were some good ones, especially uh, that walk off for Bluffton. I believe I was following in my
Oh yeah,
in
against
Washington
Hilton
D.C. But
Head.
man, what a game that was over at the Den. 10 innings, they get 2-1.
It went many extra innings.
Yeah.
And ended up what was it, Friday night?
2-1 and 10.
2-1, yeah, 2-1 and 10. The Beaufort May River game was bananas too. It ended up 17-11 Beaufort.
Wow.
But it
Oh,
was
my.
all over the
That's
place.
Yeah, as you
nuts.
said, that's an NAIA Sunday game when you
Yeah,
just
Beaufort was up
exactly-
8-1, and then May River scored 9 in the fourth to take the lead, and then
Nice.
the lead just kept going back and forth the rest of the night.
Yeah, that
And,
can happen.
Beaufort
That
ended
can
up
happen. Especially
17-11.
last game of the series, you're trying to get the most of who you have left, and it's a all hands on deck situation with your pitching staff, and those games can get crazy. Credit to Beaufort for coming up big there, in that final game in the series. But I think that's the challenge of going from 2 to 3 games is your pitching staff has to be even more deep and complete, and compared to when you only played 2 a week. Now you're playing 3 a
No.
week, and
You're absolutely right. That is the biggest difference, and I think it's better to play more. I think that really separates the good from the great, and because it's hard to sweep a series,
Sure.
when you got to have that much depth. But May River and Hilton Head tied at the top. Hilton Head still has to play Bishop England, which we can add a win for Bishop England tonight over Colleton. So Bishop England, you can see, is still a game ahead of May River and Hilton Head in the loss column, but that's assuming that they would win out, and they still have to play Hilton Head and Bluffton, I believe. So they still got work to do. What's that?
Pretty sure Buford already played Hilton Head early
No,
in the
Bishop
season.
England. Bishop England still
England,
has
yeah.
to play Hilton Head and Bluffton.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
That Hilton
So
Head Bishop England series should be interesting. I'm looking
it's going to
forward
be
to
huge.
seeing how because if Hilton Head can win that series, then things could get it could get interesting. I mean,
Well, there's a weird scenario where May River might be rooting for Bishop England one night and Hilton Head the next,
yeah,
or vice
Wow.
versa. Like they're going to need both of them to. They don't want either one of them to sweep.
right.
They
They
need
want
both of them to take at
go
least one loss,
2 either
probably.
way. Yeah,
So we're going to see when it comes down to
it's
it.
gonna be
But
interesting. May River and Hilton Head right now tied at the top. Bishop England, uh, they played fewer games than Hilton Head.
yeah, they played
Yeah,
a
they have
lot.
another series left. Yeah, so Hilton Head and May
Yeah.
River just have one more
Yeah, and
region series left. Hilton Head, of course,
Bishop England
take
has
on
2 more
Bishop
with
England.
Colleton this week,
Yep.
and then they still have to play Bluffton and Hilton Head.
Yep. Only one home game for Hilton Head against Bishop England. They have to go to Charleston twice on Monday the 20th
tough.
and Friday the 20th. Or actually, no, I think it's Monday, Thursday, Friday. Wait, 2021 or Monday, Wednesday. Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Actually.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that 2-1 game, 10 innings. That was a duel. It just went away. Coonsey for Bluffton went 8 2/3. He maxed out at 110 pitches before they had to take him out. And then Wolf was able to finish it off. Dashton Noyers, your guy, Wes, 112 pitches over 7 innings.
That's
Gave up
impressive.
1, and it was 1-1.
Wow.
And then Silvan came in, and Bluffton was finally able to break through in the bottom of the 10th. It looks like they squeezed them. They had Wolf singled with 1 out, and then Gull singled, and then Nacho sacrificed. So they had him at second and third with 2 outs, and Giglio put down a bunt to the pitcher. Wolf scored. So looks like a squeeze situation for the Bobcats to pull that one off. Heck of a win there to take.
Yeah, I mean, especially Hilton to dominate, or at least that Boston did lead that first game early, but good to see a tight one there with just great pitching on either side, especially in the game 3. It's a 2-1 decision. I'm impressed by both. That's kind of positive signs. Even though Hilton had lost that, you have to be encouraged by the way they played defensively and with the way Denoyers pitched. Especially when you get into the playoffs and you're trying to play so many games at once, and we can have a guy eat up that length and perform well like that. That's a positive development for Hilton. And you still have a chance to, if you can get the Bear Bishop England, you still have a chance to win the region. And so it's going to be obviously depending on how May River does, but I mean, the opportunity is still right in front of them, and even getting that 2 seed, if you can find a way to win that series against Bishop England. I mean, that's enormous, getting that 2 versus the 3 in terms of the postseason. So it's coming very quickly in terms of playoffs across the spring sports landscape. But I'm very intrigued about that baseball playoffs in 4A, but also some other classifications around here, especially Bridges Prep has had a nice year.
Yeah, Bridges Prep and 2A, they're looking strong. They split with Barnwell. They've beaten up on everybody else in their region, and they look the part. So we'll see.
I think they play Hilton Head in a couple of weeks. I might have to go check that one out.
There you go. Yeah, that'd be a good game to see. Just kind of a random matchup, but
there's always fun.
Sometimes they're the best ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 2 local teams that are having a lot of success, and they're both going to try to win because
I remember calling some high school league Skiza football matchups the last few years with Daniel Court that turned out to be pretty dang exciting.
True story. Let's see. Other stuff that I saw from, let's see, we're going back to Thursday. Nothing real big jumps out at you on Thursday. We talked about the Friday baseball, except Thomas Hayward beat BA 12-8. Hilton Head Prep 18-1 over Porter Gowd. Then the big one was the Saturday
the
game.
most
Hilton Head
anticipated one.
Christian JP2 showdown for first place in that region. And I'm getting the box score up here.
I'm trying to get to that second one coming up pretty soon between those two teams.
On the 23rd.
That is correct. Yeah.
I plan to see you there.
Yes, that's next Thursday. We'll try to make it to that one, but Hilton Head Christian.
The Eagles took this one 6-3 on Saturday. They scored 2 in each of the first 3 innings, and JP2 scored 1 in each of the first 2. So it was 1-0, 2-1, 2-2, 4-2, 6-2, and they win at 6-3. Slade Bird,
by a 4-for-4 performance.
Yeah, Slade was 4 for 4 with a homer and 3 RBIs, scored twice.
Oh my gosh.
Trey Nelson went 2 innings, and then Colt Sparger, freshman, with 5 innings of 1-run ball,
5 Ks, no walks against a pretty
he did hit 3 guys, so effectively wild.
Yeah, but still, I mean, limiting the damage and getting 5 Ks, and that's more than enough from what they want of him. And he's
Yeoman-like.
He's been an important guy in that staff, and I feel like this team is going to go as Slade Bird goes offensively, but you still have other people step up. Jackson Richardson, still so much from that championship team last year that's still there, and that's kind of the reason why I think that they can do this. They have a chance to do this again. I'm convinced that they can turn on even more so. And not only that, but they dominated Hanahan tonight. Hanahan, they beat him 14-3.
That's what I was just about to say. Was that?
And guess who's the big performer again? Slade Bird, who once again batted 1,000, 3 for 3, with 3 ribbies, and I believe a home run. Although there's maybe
I'm trying to figure out which bird hit the home run. It's really hard to distinguish.
You can't tell on you have to just go through the box. You have to go through the play-by-play.
I'm going through the plays to try to see.
That's how you'll find out
in fact Slade who hit another bomb.
So Slade Bird is red hot.
Sounds like the start of a Lowco game show. Which bird hit the home run?
Yeah, right. So Slade's got 10 bombs this season.
Wow.
10.
Get after it, young man.
You wanna take a guess at his batting average? And his OPS, my God.
Say 524?
656 BA.
What?
704 on base.
Oh, good.
2114 OPS.
Repeat that OPS, please.
2.114, sir.
That is past the moon. That is farther than the Artemis 2 ended up.
I didn't even know that was possible.
I didn't either. I didn't know you could go over 2,000.
Yeah, that was further than the Artemis 2 astronaut. That was so high.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, exactly. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Dang.
Bananas.
Yes.
Absolutely bananas.
And bananas
His slugging looks like an OPS. His slugging is 1410.
Good gracious.
He has 40 hits. All right. They've played 21 games. He has 40 hits, 12 doubles, 2 triples, 10 home runs. Absolutely outrageous. That's 24 extra base hits.
It's basically batting practice.
That's bananas.
My God.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to see. I'm gonna have to catch him as this season comes to an end, especially that JP2 and the Christian Academy game, and then hopefully they'll get some home games in the playoffs, which should be always fun. I love the atmosphere at those Hilton and Christian Academy baseball games. They go all in for those. Those are fun.
Not to be outdone though. Bird also had 2.
Yes. Speaking of which,
but Josh Koepka was 4 for 4 with a double.
And a double.
Guys, and Richardson also 3 for 4. So yeah, they banged up Hanahan tonight. Chip Hetzel got the win on the mound. So they're 20-1 now. And remember, we kind of thought this might be a little bit of a dip year after winning back-to-backs, but nah, they are rolling right along.
They are good.
Looking good. So yeah, should be fun. Should be fun down the stretch over there. Other Saturday stuff, Hilton Head Prep killed Porter Goud. Hilton Head Prep's very good again, too, quietly compiling a really good season over there. They're 20-2 now. So Wells is just kind of sitting over there laying in the weeds. They should be a real contender in 3A. Hilton Head took a loss. Man, we played one good inning and we got boat raced like we always do. And then tonight, I got a few baseball softball scores for you. JP2 beat up on Patrick Henry 11-2. Bluffton shut out McIntosh County 12-0. Bishop England 12-2 over Colleton County. Carlton Prep 13-3 over Andrew Jackson Academy. And they also whomped them in softball 12-2. And Northwood beat Thomas Hayward in softball 9-2. That's the bulk of it on the high school front, and I haven't seen any soccer scores yet tonight, but I will look for those from the Hardyville Classico leg 2 over at the City Hall. But USCB was busy all weekend, and we told you at the top that the guys are eliminated from the Peach Belt tournament, but they got a nice win over a top 25 team down in Florida, taking the last game against Eckerd. And then the women with a great weekend, taking 2 out of 3 from Middle Georgia to get into they're above the line now, right, Wes? They're in the 8 slot. Locked in?
I believe they're either seventh or 8th. I'll have to.
Okay.
Let me take a quick look at the
I'll grab them.
softball standings here. But taking that series was big. Yes, I believe they are in 7th. They're in 7th. They're 7-11. Most importantly, they have the tiebreaker with both Middle Georgia and Flagler because they did win the series against both those teams. So that's massive.
And they've got a game in hand against them. So
yes, they're up a game and now there's still work to be done. They still have 3 more series left. I believe they are next up against Augusta. And then I believe.
Well, and that's the other thing is their schedule was really front heavy.
Yes, they did.
As far
they had
as
a tough early schedule.
Yep. They've got Augusta, Georgia Southwestern, and Aiken.
Yeah.
And
Georgia Southwestern 3-15. They're the bottom of the conference, so that's a very good opportunity for them. But then Augusta, that's a winnable series for them. And then USC Aiken is just right above them 99. So they had the toughest part of the schedule early, and now they really have the chance to go on a nice run, and you still have a chance to maybe get that 5 seed if you can take those. If you can take those next 3 series,
if you win the last 3 series, you probably would climb to the 5, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I think you should because you'll get the win over Aiken and Augusta, who are ahead of you, just barely ahead of you. So you
would make up.
Yep.
Yeah. So it could be setting up for a nice run to the finish, and then you take a little momentum into the tournament, and if
like
you're the 5,
all bets are off for that tournament based on how that can go. So
it seems like, just anecdotally, I don't have the stats to back it up. I'd have to research them, but it seems like during Cody Yeski's time there that they have been a team that has peaked at the right time.
They and they nearly knocked off North Georgia in the first round last year in a 1-0 game where they once again they got the pitching, just couldn't get the hits, but they had their chances in that game. You kind of feel like the offense is. Well, certainly they missed some of the players, especially Jaden and what she brought, Mackenzie Four, and that certainly some very important pieces. But you're starting to see the Boyette, the Brinkman, some of the others as well. Reynolds has had some nice games. The bottom part of this order is starting to figure it out, and then you still have that untapped potential, or really certainly the potential's there, but just the fact that these players, and you look at Soria, Simmons, and Tamai Whitlock, and what they can do if they can really turn on down the stretch. I think this offense can really get even better, or at least compete even better to a higher degree as we get towards the end of the year. And and you know it's good a good sign to see Cassie Brundage and what she has done recently for that team. She's been a lot more competitive. She's had some good performances, and they're starting to get a little bit more from pitchers not named Madison Murphy. You know, Murphy has been the rock. Certainly, she's had her occasional problem spots, but she's been. I mean, you look at what she did in some big games this year, none bigger than North Georgia when she had that one hitter. But she has been just phenomenal this entire season. And on top of that, you look Cassie Brundage able to get that win in the second game of the series. You know, that ended up clinching the series for you. And she was able to come through in the clutch. She pitched the last 2 2/3. They've started using Kylie Fisher as a starter, who is a young player, just a freshman, I believe, and she's started to provide some good innings for the Sand Sharks, and that's valuable if you can get a good start from Fisher and then bring in Brundage, who still has like the problem with Brundage is just when you rely upon her the entire game, um,
Right.
you can't expect to get in terms of an ace workload from a player
Right.
like Brundage. She's great in a smaller sample size, but it's good to have two, maybe three others you can rely upon as that tandem when Murphy's not pitching. So I don't think you have that clear number two, but you have like a 2A, 2B, 2C kind of thing. And I think that can
Mhm.
work well if everyone does their part
Yeah.
as you get.
Yeah, I think you're right, and well, just you can show different looks to different people, and where that really might help is when you get to that tournament and you see
Yeah.
somebody again. You saw them 3 games earlier in the season, and they saw all these pitchers except this one, and if you got one that they haven't seen yet, that could be kind of an ace in the hole come tournament time. So yeah, should be good. It is Heritage Week, boys. It is Heritage Week. I was just perusing the field. We noted that Rory McIlroy is not going to be here, nor is Justin Rose. So two of the top
Was that a
five
late
players,
scratch?
and
Because I saw Rose's name on the field list
he
recently.
must have been because he's not
Yeah.
in there now.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
but
certainly Rose with
So
a
two of the top five not here, but
yeah,
16 of the top 20 in the world are.
no doubt.
And then it just goes on and on from
Yeah.
there. Like it's got to be about 90 out of the top 100 players
Yeah.
in the world are represented, to the point that the first alternate, this blew my mind, first alternate to get in is Brooks Koepka.
Wow.
It's a pretty big name trying to get into the tournament. So that's pretty cool. So you got Scheffler, Cameron Young coming off a great Masters. He's a guy that I expect to win here one of these days. Tommy Fleetwood, fairway Jesus, gotta love him. Russell Henley, Fitzpatrick, who's won here before. Colin Morikawa, who's always in contention here, it seems.
Yes.
Xander Schauffele, another one who's been close many times. JJ Spawn, Chris Gotterup, Robert McIntyre, Sepp Straka, Justin Thomas, Ben Griffin, Ludwig Oberg, who's could be a good pick to win here too. Jacob Bridgman, Alex Noren, and that's just
I
the
don't know
top
if you
20.
mentioned him, but Jake Knapp, who had a really nice Masters, he finished, I believe, in the top 12 at Augusta.
He will be here.
Yes, I believe he will. That's a name to keep an eye on
Yep.
after a good finish at
He's all the
Augusta.
way up to number 36 in the world now.
Yeah, I mean that's what a good week at Augusta will do for you.
Yeah.
It changes everything. So
Sure does.
There's
So,
a
yeah.
name that I was thinking about years ago, and honestly, I haven't seen him, at the Heritage, let alone any other major tournament. He may even be on the senior tour as of now, but I was at class tonight and I was talking about Heritage's past when I was doing stuff for WHHI, checking the bus DVDs, going all around the course. And there was a Wednesday years ago when I was actually working the tournament, and I was around the Wine at Nine area where there's a fairway and a bunch of straw, pine straw,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and I was literally within no more than an arm's length, probably far less than a full arm's length away from a player's approach. And I couldn't think of the player. And he hit the ball out of the pine straw into the fairway. And then I crossed over and got back to work. Charlie Hoffman was that
Oh
player.
yeah, Charlie.
Yeah,
Hoffman.
so had a couple of
Shaggy.
good runs at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaggy Charlie Hoffman. Yeah,
he's definitely had some good years at the tournament that we
Yeah.
host.
days gone by
Sure.
for Charlie Hoffman.
Yes.
He's
I'm
kinda
sure.
on the tail end of things now.
Yep.
But yeah, he was always a crowd favorite. Long hair, everybody loved that. But ton of big names here. Of course, our semi-local Brian Harmon will be playing here again, and I think he's got the game to take a tartan jacket at some point. But man, it's gotten where it's crazy work to try to pick who's going to win this thing because there's so many good players on the field.
Yeah.
It's just impossible to narrow it down. I mean, I have no clue where it's going to come from.
No doubt. It's like you look. You how many guys you rattled off that have a chance to win this tournament? I think you could go 20, 30 deep, and I think that's true for
At
a lot of
least.
tournaments, especially the way this one is set up, and the fact that you're looking at the cream of the crop, top a vast majority of the top 10, 20, 30 golfers in the world right now. I've said this before, but it goes to show how far this tournament has gone in just the last few years, and the level of competition continuing to rise and rise and rise each year. But you just listed off a good amount of players who I'd say most likely you'll have one of those who will win the FedEx Cup or at least have a good chance to win at the end of the year. That is how much the PGA Tour and that's how much these players have loved to be a part of this tournament and how that has impacted the elevated status of this event, which is now seemingly a year in and year out thing, or at least at this point. And it's really cool to continue to see that be a thing and grow seemingly even bigger every year. And you just look at the past champions of Jordan Spieth, Scotty Scheffler, and now just recently Justin Thomas, who I don't know if we mentioned him, but he one of the better finishes we have seen in that really dramatic playoff a year ago. And it's going to be exciting to have those mix of the guys we have seen, the veterans who have played and succeed here in the past. So for Matty Fitzpatrick, who was one year before, I believe he will be in the field as well this weekend. And then you have this new crop of young players who are really starting to find their way. Gotterup, who had a really good Open Championship last year, he was competitive in the Masters as well. I said Knapp's name. There are some Oberg. Oberg seems destined to really break through. He has had his name at the top of seemingly almost every major leaderboard the last couple of years. It just seems like he is close to breaking through. So you just have these up and coming new names, and then you have the players who are the fan favorites who have been here. Yeah, you may not have Rory, but you have Scheffler, who obviously is going to get a big time, gallery and showing this tournament, and then others as well. Of course, you can add Justin Thomas's name to the list, Jordan Spieth that I mentioned, but those players who seem to always perform well here know the course well and will find a way to be in the mix, you would think, as we get into the weekend. But that's the fun part about this is you have just these differing contrasts of stories that you talk about coming in. You're coming off the Masters. Sometimes you get the champion, sometimes you don't. But this year you still have a lot of good storylines from players who had a good week at Augusta. Some who are really trying to prove themselves. Then you have sometimes you have those guys who will come out of nowhere, or at least come out of maybe some obscurity to do well in a tournament like this. And that's the fun of it, to see the storylines coming in. You get into the first couple of rounds and you go from there. So it's a really fun thing to be a part of, especially with it being the week after the Masters, when you just everyone's talking about the PGA Tour and golf in general, especially here, but really around the sport and beyond. And now we get a chance to really showcase our course and showcase the island to the national international stage, and continue to just bring in the cream of the crop in terms of talent. And that is what made this tournament become even bigger a spectacle than it was. And it was obviously, in our eyes, obviously something that we have enjoyed. And and something that golf fans have really enjoyed. But now it's really become one of those. It's not. I don't know if it'll get to the level of the players. Maybe we think it will, but it's that next tier below.
I think
with
we're
the
biased.
I don't know that it will because I don't know that it will be
but I'm
signature
trying to
event
think of other tournaments like the Memorial, the tournament at Scottsdale.
Yeah,
like the next tier
Phoenix,
of tournaments that
Phoenix kind of feels like a higher
Phoenix,
profile.
Hartford, like those type of travelers, those types of tournaments where
whale.
I put the Heritage over Travelers and a good amount of it.
Oh yeah, no, I agree for sure.
No
I think
question.
it's more in there with like Phoenix and maybe what's the one at Colonial? In
Memorial,
Texas.
yeah.
There's a few that that kind of are kind of old school throwback courses or that are kind of loose vibes. And I think either one of those kind of fits in with the Heritage, kind of fits into both of those buckets, so to speak.
And getting into certainly what you guys were talking about, too, you got to give Steve Wilmot and the entire crew a ton of credit. And even saying a ton of credit doesn't even do them justice.
Not even
because they work 365 days a year.
I mean, it's like
from sun up till sundown, planning this thing. And after the end of the final round on Sunday, Monday, they're back at it, even at the smallest detail. And I've gotten to know, and I've told you guys for sure too, in my time working with WHHI since 2013, I've gotten to know Steve pretty well, like you guys have, I'm sure. And he's just what he does for RBC and for our community and for the PGA, just amazing stuff. And always one of those people that always brings a smile to my face when I get a chance to see him.
That you're talking
just
about
a couple of weeks ago.
While you're mentioning Steve Wilmot, I wanted to bring up another name who we certainly have to shout out just because of how amazing she has been and given us the opportunity to cover this tournament with so many high credentialed writers and reporters, but Angela McSwain, providing us the opportunity to.
She's right there with Steve.
This event is
no doubt.
Rockstar.
Yeah, just so fortunate and blessed to be able to be in this position to cover this and to be firsthand at such a prestigious tournament and to be able to to talk to some of the competitors in terms of the press conferences before and after the tournament, and just incredibly gracious for McSwain to give us this continued opportunity, and very, very.
She's the best. We love her.
Yep.
We love Angela. Of course, if you're wanting to watch the tournament, your best bet's going to be PGA Tour Live or ESPN Plus, because they're going to have basically wire-to-wire coverage starting 7 a.m. main feed.
You can catch some on the golf channel
all day long. But if you want the traditional TV broadcast, Golf Channel will pick it up at 2:00 on Thursday and Friday, 2 to 6. And then Saturday, Golf Channel will have it 1 to 3. And then CBS will pick it up 3 to 6. And then the same on Sunday, Golf Channel 1 to 3, CBS 3 to 6. You can also find it on the Paramount Plus or CBS Sports app or the Golf app.
And
these have gotten a lot more complicated than they used to be, these broadcasts.
As well, starting tomorrow, if you want an extra behind-the-scenes look at a lot of what's going on, certainly with the opening ceremonies, Steve Wilmot's thoughts from some players, certainly volunteers, and some other stuff all around the Low Country, especially with the Southern Carolina Alliance at the end of the week. Check out WHHI. A bunch of folks, Bob Stevens, Lisa Richardson, Maria Soden, those three for sure. I'm sure Jess is going to get out there. I'm sure Robin Zimmerman or Betsy McDaniel is going to get out there. Heck, I'm going to be out there. I'm not going to be working, but I'm going to be out there on Saturday catching Saturday's action. So WHHI's got you covered again with the behind the scenes of what's going on for sure. Broadcasting the news out there Tuesday,
Awesome.
tomorrow, and Thursday, and then, like I said, a bunch of stuff with SCA. So that's the Southern Carolina Alliance. So
Yes.
check out WHHI TV all week long for that as well.
Very cool.
Forward to it,
And
yeah.
here's your weather. Here's your Heritage weather.
Course.
Looking pretty good
Looks
out
awesome.
there. 78 for the high on Tuesday, 77 Wednesday. Then we get into the tournament, 78, 80, 80. No rain in the
No rain
forecast. Zero
expected.
rain
I can't think of a year where
probability.
that's happened before.
It has happened a couple of times
Yeah,
recently.
but zero rain probability across the board is
I can't
pretty
think of a year where
that's
that's
very
happened.
rare, no doubt. No
That's
doubt.
pretty blessed. I
Amazing.
mean, that is Chamber of Commerce, as good as it gets type stuff. So should be really nice and nice and breezy, 10 to 15, but not like the year that they were playing cricket on the putting green because
I'm looking in
the
terms
balls
of
were
winds.
blowing off the
It
greens.
doesn't look too bad in terms of the winds for a good part.
No, 10 to 15 should be just good classic swirling winds at Harbortown. So yeah, good stuff. Looking forward to that. Any other big news? I did see one piece of I know Stricklander said the Skiza football schedules are out. Maybe we save those for another night and get him in here to break them down with us. But I did see on the football front that Roman Benjamin, the star wide receiver for the Bluffton Bobcats, is going down the road. He's going to IMG down in Orlando for his final season. So his senior season. I knew that he went down there and visited, and I knew he went and visited, and they offered him or whatever. So he's going down there, which, good for him. He's definitely a guy that has impressed the hell out of me since he got to Bluffton, because at BA, he was at BA before, and he was kind of waiting in the wings, and then when it was going to be the year that you'd kind of expect him to get his opportunity, he jumped over to Bluffton, and then he had a monster year there, and then he had another monster year there, and now he's he was going to be set up opposite AP with Carnell now making highlight social media, viral social media catches for UNC. He was going to have a real opportunity to be opposite him, but now he gets to go play in a program that's going to be full of guys that are really trying to strive to get to the next level. And I expect him to continue to impress and put up numbers. He's seems to be just an athlete and a competitor and a dog, and really highly motivated to try to make his mark and get to the next level. So we'll follow him, but we'll miss watching him play his senior year here.
No doubt.
Talented dude. Did you guys see any other headlines?
I have some parting thoughts lined up in terms of other big headlines.
But I'll get
Can't really think of any other major headlines off the top of my head.
Just doing the due diligence before we get into sponsors and send it to parting thoughts. So shout out to some of our sponsors. We got Hudson's Seafood House on the docks, a great place for seafood sunsets and cocktails on Hilton Head Island, and presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. And I haven't checked with the boys, but I assume we'll be trying for Tuesday night once again for an Under the Bus episode. And either I or Wes will be handling that, depending on how the USCB games go tomorrow. Hopefully the Sand Sharks dispatch with Savannah State swiftly, and we can get on to Under the Bus, presented by Hudson's Seafood House on the docks. And then we've also got Twinge and Twombly, our personal injury attorney friends over in Beaufort. They've got a rare name, Twinge and Twombly, but they provide remarkable service. So if you need a personal injury attorney in Beaufort, call on Twinge and Twombly. And also HHI Windows and Doors. Our old friend Coach Barron from Hilton Head Prep has hung up his whistle, and he's focused on a new kind of screens at HHI Windows and Doors, where they want to improve your view of the Lowco. And also Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind, the place you want to go if you want to take your skills on the mat to the next level this off season. And at last, Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. And that brings us to our parting thoughts. Marcus Walsh, our guest, sort of our semi-permanent guest. Go ahead.
There you go. have some really unfortunate news to share that I was kind of thinking over the last couple of days since I heard a possible announcement, just what it might be. But our our favorite, at least one of mine, Dick Vitale, is back in a cancer battle.
Mm.
Uh, Lymphoma, I believe. Excuse me, melanoma, or I'm sorry, myeloma. Uh, Liver and possibly lungs. So saw that today, and my heart sunk a little bit.
Yeah, that's
The
rough.
one thing that I will say is that it's in the time of year where he's gonna fight like crazy and just see how things shake out, and hopefully come November he's back behind a mic. Um, just what he's been able to do, helping so many people in their journey with cancer and working with the V Foundation. His story certainly of knowing Jim Valvano and a bunch of others that were so closely tied with Jimmy V. Um, and that's still, his main goal is to help as many people that he can,
Yeah.
to, if they have cancer, get through it and raise awareness, and especially with pediatric cancer. But he's had, and I talked to Sam about it too, because she knows a little bit about Dickie V, courtesy of yours truly. He's had a rough last 5 years. It's just been battle after battle after
Well,
battle
he has
after
been a
battle.
warrior. He has been
He is the ultimate,
you know,
for sure. Wish I had better news. Certainly, as we're in the industry, but just ultimately fans as well.
Yeah.
And all the best to him and
yep,
his
no
family
doubt.
for sure. Oh,
What a fantastic mentor, or just mentor to
great
so many,
individual.
and just great ambassador for the sport of college basketball.
Yeah.
Certainly sending all our prayers and well wishes to Dickie V. And certainly I'm sure Curry, Kirkpatrick, and so many others will echo those same
Mhm.
thoughts as well. But well said there. Marcus, in terms of my parting thoughts, I have an interesting one that actually came across a couple days ago with the South Carolina High School League, and we've kind of mentioned this kind of topic earlier on, and something that we kind of would be excited to see, or would be cool to see, uh, or at least be more maybe more effective to see than what is there already. It looks like we could see smaller playoff brackets in the South Carolina High School League starting next season. They had discussions on that on Friday. It appears to be that it is a considerable possibility that the playoff clinching, scenarios in terms of how many teams get in from each region, and the brackets themselves are going to be different starting
Mhm.
next year. So they will. No vote was administered, but it is looking like Tuesday, which is tomorrow. They will be voting on this topic. So um, it looks like from the proposals, what we have seen, um, for we'll start with 4A because that's the bigger the biggest
Mhm.
classification for us. So for each sport, there'll be a minimum of 16, a maximum of 28 teams. So we right now, of course, we have 32 um, in each, or pretty much every playoff bracket. So there would be between 16 and 28 depending on the sport. In 3A and 5A, that would fall to a maximum of 24 teams. So you could have a situation where the top couple of teams get a bye to the second round, and then you have like the top 8 or so get a bye, and then the next 16 would play in the first round. And I would assume for the bigger sports in 3A, and that would be for 5A as well. So 2A, 4A maximum of 28, 3 and 5A maximum of 24, and then for 1A, there is a chance there could be 2 brackets. It's looking like kind of like Division 1, Division 2.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, I forget what the number is, maybe 24. But any sport that there are more than 24, I believe, is the number. teams that sponsor it in 1A will be split into 2 divisions for the state championships.
Okay.
So similar to how they did it with 5A this year, but because there's so much fluctuation in 1A from sport to sport about how many teams sponsor it. Like very few girls tennis teams or girls golf teams, for example. There's a lot more soccer teams than baseball and softball teams. So it'll just depend sport to sport. I would think football, there's going to be a ton in football. So there'll definitely be 2 divisions for football, and I would think basketball, probably soccer, maybe baseball, maybe softball, but probably not, I would think. So certainly not wrestling, but at least we'll get our own classification.
I saw something. Let me pull up Lou's. I saw Lou say something about baseball in particular, if I can find it. But there was an interesting thing I saw about how the baseball.
But I think we're overdue to revisit it. I think I think there are more sports where it doesn't make sense as it's currently constructed than where it does. We're taking too many teams in almost every sport, and not the right teams necessarily.
And really, why are we even playing with the thought of having a team that just barely made it, maybe 5th in their region, go with the top team in the lower state?
Well, I mean, there's no reason why we should be sending at-larges that are like at-large by default, basically, because they're the only team that applied for it. And then we're going to send them 4 hours away to get stomped by 50, no matter what the sport is, whether it's football or basketball, they're going to lose by 40 or 50. And it just doesn't make sense.
Especially with the amount of mileage and time that goes into
I've always thought that I thought that the COVID year, one of the really cool things that came out of it, I really liked the bowl game things that teams could play if they didn't make the playoffs, where they could set up one last game. And I just think that is the easy solution to that. If you cut back a round out of the playoffs, allow teams that don't make the playoffs to schedule a game that week of the first round of the playoffs and play, some other team that didn't make the playoffs. I thought that was cool. I thought we got much better matchups out of those games. There were only a few of them, but they were good matchups because people sought out matchups that made sense.
Right.
And so I just thought that was cool. And I think that's a good way that you could mitigate that. If part of the argument is, well, we don't want teams to get cheated out of a game or whatever, then let's give them a game.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be part of the state tournament.
Here is what is looking like could happen for baseball and softball. They recommend a 2014 bracket for every classification, and we would do away, assuming for baseball. So baseball will do away with the double elimination district tournaments. Instead, 9 through 24 would be a single elimination round. So winner go home. And then every other round after that is best of 3 to the championship. I mean, in that situation, it's kind of like wild card baseball, or what used to be wild card baseball is the 1-game playoff, and then you go to best of 3 after that, which I kind of like because I
don't hate it.
It rewards getting that bye or getting that.
I don't hate it. You'll have somebody who's a top seed who tries to pitch off, gets cute and tries to pitch off and gets beat. That'll be funny. I like it. I'm kind of into that. So I like that they're taking some liberty to kind of do it sport by sport. That sounds like we're taking a big step in the right direction to try to find real solutions instead of just trying to slap a one-size-fits-all label on it, So it sounds like we're getting there.
Yeah, and then speaking of playoffs, wanted to say congratulations to the Savannah Ghost Pirates, who in their 4th season have finally clinched a playoff berth in the ECHL for the first time. So wish them best of luck as looks like they'll face the Florida Everblades. But pretty cool to finally get some playoff hockey in Savannah coming up for the Ghost Pirates.
Did you say the Florida Everblades?
Yeah.
not the Everglades, the Everblades.
I
Yes,
like
It's a pretty cool name. It's a
That's
pretty
very
cool
cool.
name. Not gonna lie. I like that.
What do you got?
All right.
Did you?
That's all you got? Okay. I don't really have a super good one, except that I've been intrigued by this to see what was going to happen, and now we know the Dallas Wings with the first pick in the WNBA draft have selected AZ Fudd, so they will reunite Paige Beckers and AZ Fudd, who are romantically involved. So that's why I was really curious what they would do. Would they pick? And it just is a funny, sociological experiment. Like, do you pick your star player's girlfriend or do you not?
Didn't the Dallas
Wings
the move get like the top pick of last year? They
took Beckers last year and they took Bud this year. Wow. Yeah. So, but interesting dynamic, and given the popularity of heated rivalry, perhaps it will spur even more interest in the WNBA.
That's an interesting dynamic. Very, very interesting dynamic.
Yeah, your two best players, 2-star players, are in a relationship. Sounds like a great reality show. Sounds like a great behind-the-scenes reality show to me.
Yes.
I think there'll be a lot of good content, but they do seem to have the most wholesome and healthy relationship. So I hope it.
And even so, the WNBA is they've it just seems like they've done a really good job with Caitlin Clark and her prowess, and now Becker's in the league, and it's good to see the level. Now you're starting to talk about expanded salaries for these women, which is awesome to see the equal.
I think it's $500,000. That was the number one pick,
which is a good step forward for that side of things for the WNBA. So that's a positive sign, and it's good to see that kind of attention because they're getting ready to get their season. They play in the summer and right after the NBA finishes.
Yeah. It's cool because then the college girls who you just saw star in the tournament, a couple months later they're playing in the WNBA, which I think is pretty cool. But no, I think it's taken big steps. I think one of the biggest things was people seeing Caitlin Clark go in there and not be the best player. Like they were like, oh shoot. There's a bunch of ladies who are better than this chick that we were amazed by when she was at Iowa. So I think that's been eye-opening for a lot of people about the quality of play in the league. But women's sports definitely having a moment, and I'm excited about it.
Especially, I think we mentioned this, but the softball, the AU softball league has had some good successes. The AUSL, I believe it's called, the softball league.
Oh yeah, no, I hope they're expanding that. They need to. Near immediately. If they haven't already planned to expand it this year, they need to add more teams because that was fire last year. We need to see more of that. So, all right, boys. Anything else for the good of the order?
When I stepped away a little while ago, I was going on a rundown on Sam's phone, and I've been having laptop trouble. I'm gonna go with Tommy Fleetwood as my winner for the Heritage.
I think we'll pick it on Wednesday.
You guys have have a thought.
We will. Yeah, we'll come back probably Wednesday and go through the full predictions and before the tournament gets started. But
well, just in case we can do that. He's getting it on there.
There you go. We're not sure. Maybe I don't know. If something comes up before then, we will know that Tommy Fleetwood will be your pick to win the Tartan.
That's right.
Look good in the Tartan.
I'm gonna go Cantlay. Cantlay is gonna finally break through.
Seems like he has been.
He's been so close so many times. So close so many times. And he's kind of a heel, but I think he's gonna pull it off this time. Maybe I don't know. I can't call it. All right, boys. Good stuff. Always good talking sports with you guys. Hope everybody is all caught up. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to all of our sponsors for making it possible. Thanks to you for showing up to listen or watch. We'll be back. Sounds like Wednesday night is the plan for Heritage Eve and officially give you our picks for the Heritage. So be sure to check us out then. For Marcus Walsh and Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Till next time, go Lowco.